Hello friends, today we are going to learn about the topic recovery and performance in cloud computing services. Recovery and performance here it means how we can recover the files or the data which we have stored over the cloud with software as a service and the performance of the cloud storage devices or the systems. Recovery and performance. As we all know, cloud services are all basically the same. It uploads the files and they sync to other clients connected to it. That means the clients which are connected to that particular file, they sync it. Sometimes accidents still happen and the wrong files are deleted. Luckily, deleted files are not always gone forever. That means you can recover or retrieve those files from the data or the storage. There is a lot of stuff you can do with cloud storage that you could not do even just a few years ago. If you need to clear some space of the local storage or of your local storage, for example, you can offload stuff to your cloud folders. You can also move special folders to the cloud so they can be easily synced across various devices. Today, however, we want to talk about how to undelete or permanently delete files from the cloud computing or cloud storage. There are a lot of cloud storage services these days, but three most prominent names for the end users or the clients are the offerings from Dropbox, Google Drive, and Microsoft OneDrive. We will be discussing about these three storage applications which mostly consumers use. Thus, those are the ones that we tend to cover and it will be. Now, first thing is the Dropbox and we are discussing about the recovery of the files. So, in Dropbox, it keeps deleted files differently. That means in a different manner than Google or Microsoft. With Dropbox, there is no trash or recycle bin. Instead, the files are deleted but are not moved from their location. That means if they are deleted also, they will still be there in their own location where they used to be before deleting. More accurately, the files are simply hidden. That means you will not be able to see those files there, but it will be there, hidden from the user. Thus, when you want to recover or delete a file permanently, you need to go to the folder from which you deleted them and then unhide them. To do this, you can click the little trash can icon in the upper right corner. We are going to see the diagram now. This is the Show Deleted Files button. See, here in the diagram we could see we went to the Dropbox, then to the folder, and then from that folder to the particular folder from where we want to delete the files or we have deleted the files. So then now we see this particular icon which we were talking about, that is Show Deleted Files. Here alternatively you can right click and then choose Show Deleted Files from the resulting menu. See, here we have this particular trash icon in the uppermost corner, and then we can perform that thing or the function which we want to. Or alternatively, what we can do, we can just right click and get to that Show Deleted Files icon, and then if we want to delete it or recover it, we can perform the function as per the desire of the consumer. Here, either way, your deleted files will appear in gray, and when you select one or several of them, you can right click once again for the further options. That means which particular function you want to perform. To restore file or files, click Restore. Obviously, then to permanently delete them, you can choose Permanently Delete, or view and restore previous versions of that file if there are any. See here we have this particular thing. These are the images which are hidden, or we could say once deleted but not permanently deleted. So they are in gray, and now if I want this particular image to be recovered or permanently delete any of the function I want to perform, so what I can do here is I will select this image and now I'll right click to that in Dropbox. So I have this three options: restore, permanently delete and previous versions. So amongst these three, whichever function I want to perform, I'll select that and will perform in that. When you are ready to restore a file, Dropbox will prompt you with a dialog. If there are other versions to view, you can do that before you commit to the function you want to perform or Dropbox is asking you to perform. Dropbox will keep unlimited versions of the files for up to 30 days. That means it will be there. Once it is deleted, it will be there for 30 days, and after that it will go. Or with extended version history up to 1 year. Now here, if I chose to restore the file, as we can see in the diagram, I have chosen to restore the file. So the most recent version of that image which I chose to restore is asked, which version do you want to restore? The most recent version or anything that you can see. See here you have view other versions, and then you can restore after selecting that particular version. See now I have the version history. How many versions I have here? Version 5, it is the current one which is being displayed here. Then version 4, version 3, 2 and 1. It has informed that version 1 is the oldest version amongst all. And then you can select which version you want to restore. While you may never need to take advantage of Dropbox versioning powers, they do come in handy for those rare times when you overwrite a file and want to revert to an older version. Then another example for recovery here is Google Drive. Google Drive supports a much more conventional method of deleting files, that is trash. You can delete a file from anywhere on the drive, though it will be technically moved to the trash folder. To restore that file, you will first need to click the trash icon on the location sidebar. You might be surprised to see all the files you once thought were gone still sitting there in the trash icon. See, here we have a diagram of that. So there are several numbers of files which we feel that I have deleted or we have deleted, but it is still there in the trash. So now you can select one or several or even all these files and right click to see a menu with two options: to restore or delete forever. Note also the same two options are available in the upper right corner as well. That means on right click also you will be having those options, as well as there will be those options in the upper right corner. See, we have this. For this image, I have selected it and right click. Then I have these two options: restore and delete forever. Similar options I have here also: restore and delete forever. The quickest way to permanently delete all the files in the trash is to click the arrow next to trash above the files. From drop down, select empty trash. That means those files will be deleted permanently then. That is how you restore and permanently delete files on Google Drive. Now we'll see the Microsoft OneDrive, which is similar to its Google counterpart. Microsoft OneDrive. Microsoft's OneDrive also moves deleted files instead of actually removing them. In keeping with a Windows theme, deleted files can be found in the recycle bin. We all use Windows and we know what a recycle bin is. The recycle bin is found in the bottom left corner of the navigation pane. See, here we have this OneDrive and here we have the recycle bin. Once you have opened the recycle bin, again you may be a little surprised at just how many files you thought were gone are still hanging around. If you wanted at this point to restore them all, you could click restore all items, and if you want to permanently delete them all, click empty recycle bin. Here are the two options: restore all items and empty recycle bin. On the other hand, if you want to restore or delete certain files, you would check the ones you want and then your actions options will change. You can restore these files, delete them, view their properties, and finally you can clear the selection to start over. See, here you have those options. You can restore those files, you can delete, then there are some of the properties, how you want to do it, and then the clear selection. It is easy to sometimes lose data even when you are going to pains not to. If you make the mistake of removing data from a local cloud folder without first unsyncing it, then it will be removed from the cloud server and all the attached clients. Accidents happen, so it is good to know that they can be undone if necessary. This gives a better idea of how cloud storage services might allow you to restore or permanently delete files. When all else fails, your cloud service should list a solution in the support section. See, this is the recovery. We have seen the example of how the end user will recover its file. In the similar way, the business houses which opts for cloud storage can recover those data from the cloud services. Now, cloud storage performance. First off, you cannot fix what you cannot measure. As such, it is important to establish a baseline expectation of the performance of a cloud storage bucket. To this end, we suggested running the PerfDiag utility, which runs a set of tests to report the actual performance of a cloud storage bucket. That means if you are using any of the cloud storage services from those providers, then you need to know what is the actual performance of that cloud storage bucket with this test. It has lots of options so that you cannot tune it as closely as possible to match your own usage pattern, which can help set expectations, and if there is a performance difference, help track down where the problem might be or how upload performance is being improved. First, how to upload small files faster. Each cloud storage upload transaction has some small overhead associated with it, which in bulk scenarios can quickly dominate the performance of the operation. For example, when uploading 20,000 files that are 1 KB each, the overhead of individual upload takes more time than all the entire upload time altogether. This concept of overhead per operation is not new, nor is the solution. It is batch the operations together. If you have ever done SIMD programming on the CPU, for example, you have seen firsthand how batch operations mitigates the overhead of each operation across the set, improving performance. To this end, provides the M option that performs a batched parallel, that is multi-threaded or multi-processing upload from the local machine to the cloud bucket. which can significantly increase the performance of an upload or the performance of uploading the files. Here's a test that compares uploading of 100 to 2K files individually and batch uploading using this particular technique. More efficient large file uploads. Now, the utility can also automatically use object composition to perform uploads in parallel for large local files that you want to upload to cloud storage. It splits a large file into component pieces, uploads them in parallel, and then recomposes them once they are in the cloud and deletes the temporary components it created locally. See, for example, if I have 20 blocks of woods, then I have to move this 20 blocks of woods from place A to place B. It will be very difficult for me to hold it, carry it throughout the route, and then place it to the position B where they want to be. So now what I can do is I can divide this 20 blocks into, say for example, 5 each. So now what happens is I can easily move those small blocks from one place to another, and when I reach here I will again mix those up. That means I will mix those blocks which I have bifurcated, and then I'll have this original block which was transmitted from place A. And then when I have done that thing, or the process is being completed, then these particular programs which I have created will no longer be in existence. Similar way, they are saying how you can upload a large file, increasing the computer's performance. More efficient large file uploads also has this, that you can enable this by setting the parallel composite upload threshold option on this, or updating the particular boto file like the console output suggests, where local big file is a file larger than 150 MB. This divides your data into chunks and uploads them in parallel, increasing upload performance. We have seen this in the example before. Then now improving the download performance from the cloud storage. Now you can set the optimal fetch size. As mentioned before, cloud storage has fixed transactional overhead per request. For downloads, or much like uploads, this means you can achieve improved performance by finding the sweet spot between the size of the request and the number of requests that have to be made to download the data which is required by the user. To demonstrate this, let us take an 8 MB file. That means this is an example of how you can improve the download performance from cloud storage. Let us take an 8 MB file and fetch it through different sized chunks. In the graph, we can see that the block size gets larger, performance improves as the chunk size decreases, the overhead per transaction increases, and performance slows down. Thank you.